What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metallysis, the metal music analysis. Today we're doing another album review, this time of Nightwish, one of my favorite bands. They do some amazing work. First album I ever heard by them was Dark Passion Play, and it's still my favorite album by them. They have a really cool symphonic metal genre that they've been defined as, but they also really include instrumentation from many different things, and they sound like they come from folk and like Irish rock to opera, theatrical performance, and all kinds of things. So they're a very diverse group. So I'm really hoping this will sound like Dark Passion Play, so let's find out. First, we'll start with the album artwork, as always. So it's a very dark background, and it looks like light illuminating some sort of runic rock of some kind. It looks like some archaeological dig dug up some ancient tomb or something in a rock that represents something. Maybe those symbols represent something and I just have no idea what they are. Maybe it's only known to the band, or maybe I just am ignorant and don't know. But it's a very cool looking album cover. It has their typical logo on it that I think really stylishly represents their sound. Human to Nature, at least I think that's how it's supposed to be read. It's very much about nature, and I think enjoying the beauties of it. Seems like something they've been on a kick about lately. I think it's always something that's probably been in their wheelhouse, but the past two albums anyway have seemed to really focus on the beauty of nature, and this one's no different. This one's interesting because it has two discs. The first one, and discs in quotations because we download music now, but the first one's your traditional Nightwish album. It's got 9 songs on it, kind of what you'd expect from their release. And then the backside, or the disc 2, is pure orchestral instrumentation. It sounds like a completely different thing. It sounds like classical music, essentially. So I'm going to kind of look at both separately. And since we focus mostly on metal music, I will consider my rating to be just about disc 1. And then I'll talk about disc 2 as well, because I still think it's great music. So for me, the first disc is very hit or miss. I'm expecting the quality of Dark Passion Play. Really heavy riffs with beautiful singing from Floor Jansen, which I think is still the lead singer right now, and intermix that in with some of the backup vocals from the men in the group. I don't know everyone's names, so I apologize. I guess I should look that up in advance since I claim to be a fan, but I didn't. But it starts with the song called Music, which to me I liked, but the cadence of her voice felt weird. The melody of it felt all over the place, and like she was going up and down with her voice for no real reason. And it just felt awkward to me. And I think that happened on one other song. I'm looking to see if I wrote it down somewhere. Shoemaker. She also did that on Shoemaker, where it just felt like she was going, oh, with no purpose, and just felt like for the sake of going up and down. To me, that's how it came across. So I didn't particularly like the song Shoemaker or Music for that reason, even though they had some good riffs to it and good music behind it. So I gave both those Music a 2.5 and Shoemaker a 3, actually. Their single, Noise, is actually a pretty solid tune. It sounds like, to me, commentary on the noise of technology and social media and how we're so addicted to these devices that we never appreciate the beauty of nature around us and live in the moment, is what I got out of it. And has a very cool heavy breakdown, phenomenal vocals, as always. Lead singer has a beautiful voice. So I think this is one of the best songs on the album. Although Pan is very close too. This has really cool guitars and a very heavy outro that I like. This is the kind of Nightwish that I listen for, is these two tracks, Noise and Pan. Those ones made it onto my playlist. Really enjoyed those tracks. I gave Pan a 5 and Noise a 4. And really, when I say 4 or 5, I mean, it ends up being arbitrary. Like a 5 to me, it's got to have that listenability where I want to listen to it every single day. And it's not quite that. In fact, Pan isn't really that either. So I might even put that down to 4.5. I really like both songs. I'll put them on my playlist. I'll shuffle them. Happy to hear them. But it's not something I'm going to go want to listen to every day. The rest of the songs didn't kick my ass. Tribal was solid. I give it a 3.5. I enjoy it. It has a really good bass line, some tribal chanting with it. It has some good guitar parts, but it also didn't stick out to me. It didn't excite me. It didn't make me feel anything particular. Endlessness, the last track on there, is good. It's a bit too lengthy, but I like it. It just feels too long and drawn out, and I got kind of tired of it halfway through. And I'm not against long songs. Metallica's Master of Puppets is a very long song. It's one of the best songs ever written. it just felt this one was particularly too long. Procession and How's the Heart were good songs, but felt more like filler to me. I wasn't too impressed. And Harvest, I really didn't like that song. It felt like a folksy song and just kind of annoyed me, and I had to skip it. And I rarely give a 1. It was not for me. Doesn't mean I think that the musicianship was bad. It feels like this album was for a different audience than what was typical for me anyways. I wasn't crazy about it. I give it like a 2. I just don't think it was for me. I think in terms of musicality, it's really excellent. I would give it a 4, 4.5. But for me personally, in my preferences, I'd give it a 2. I don't really have a desire to listen to it again. Dark Passion Play, on the other hand, or Wishmaster, those are always on my iTunes playing all the time, so I don't see this one being in that direction. However, on the backside, which is not metal, it's basically just orchestral arrangements. All the titles are named after different landscapes and parts of nature, and each of the vibes and the melodies and the music itself represents whatever that title is. So there's one called The Moors, and it sounds very sad yet beautiful at the same time. And there's one called The Green, which sounds very beautiful, like a forest. And they just really captured each landscape very well musically. And I thought that was very creative, and it sounds beautiful. It reminds me of like Lord of the Rings soundtrack or something along those lines, and it's very nice to listen to. I give actually the back part of the album, that's like a 5 for me. That's an excellent track, which I didn't think would happen because I really, really like Nightwish when they're on, like some of their past albums. But the first half was not for me at all. It sounded more like folk rock, not even rock, maybe just folk music. So if that's your thing, I think it's going to be a great tune for you to listen to the first half. If you really like good orchestral music, or you really like soundtracks for movies like I do, then the back half is actually really good music. It's worth listening to. The Moors particularly is my favorite. It's very sad. It makes me kind of want to cry, but it has a beauty to it that I really like. Anthropocene, if I'm saying it correctly, is another great tune. It has like a quirky jingle to it that reminds me of Final Fantasy for some reason. The little black mage in Final Fantasy IX shows my video game side a bit, but yeah, I liked that tune a lot. It has like a building intro and then goes into that quirky sound that I enjoyed. Aurora is also another good tune on here. It has some harp-like music, and it sounds, I guess, how the music you would hear in your head when you look up in the night sky and see an aurora. Just beauty, and it sounds like you're just in awe of looking at the universe. And I feel like that's what they were doing when they were writing this music, is they were looking out into the universe, looking to the night sky, exploring nature, climbing mountains, and just taking in the beauty, and then composed music that represented their feelings. And I feel that a lot in the second part of it. So the orchestral parts is amazing to me, and the first disc is not so much. So yeah, I'm curious what you all think. Did I miss the mark on the first half? I'm going to try and give it another listen. This is after just one pass through, and sometimes my first impression changes over time, so I'm going to give it another listen, see if my mind stays the same. But as of right now, the first half strikes me as a 2, and the second half strikes me as a 5. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. If you like watching these videos, like and subscribe.